Welcome to the Real History Network. Tonight, we journey into the depths of the ocean, beyond human memory, into a world lost to time. A city of gold, a kingdom of power, a civilization that vanished in a single night. This is the story of Atlantis. Long before the grandeur of Rome, before the pyramids of Egypt, before even the first kingdoms of humankind, there was an island that rose from the sea like a radiant jewel, a kingdom of unmatched power and brilliance. This was Atlantis. The ocean that cradled it was vast and calm, but beneath its tranquil surface, silence held secrets older than time itself. Today, where this marvel once stood, only silence remains. But once, this very place ruled the seas. It was a civilization defined by its immense wealth, its profound wisdom, and its boundless ambition. The philosopher Plato, in his dialogues, described Atlantis as a city beyond imagination, a utopia made real. He painted a picture of an island nation structured in perfect, concentric circles of land and water, a design both beautiful and ingenious. Bridges crafted from gleaming marble spanned the waterways, connecting magnificent, shining temples. Golden towers pierced the sky, their polished surfaces reflecting the sun's rays across a network of canals that flowed like rivers of fire. The people of Atlantis were not just prosperous. They were intelligent, highly skilled, and justifiably proud of their accomplishments. They had mastered the arts of navigation, architecture, and engineering to a degree that was centuries, perhaps millennia, ahead of their time. Their ships charted every corner of the known world. Their builders erected structures that defied gravity, and their society flourished in an era of peace and unprecedented technological advancement. According to the legend, the Atlanteans were descended from Poseidon, the god of the sea, who fell in love with a mortal woman named Cleo. He built this island paradise for her, a sanctuary of beauty and safety. The first king of Atlantis was Atlas, their eldest son, and it was in his honor that the city and the surrounding ocean were named. Under a long line of wise rulers, Atlantis grew into a powerful empire. Its influence stretched across the waves, establishing colonies and trade routes with distant lands. Their fertile soil produced harvests a year. Their mines yielded precious metals like gold, silver, and the mysterious, shimmering orichalcum, which was said to be more valuable than gold. The citizens enjoyed a life of luxury and intellectual pursuit, surrounded by art, philosophy, and scientific discovery. They lived in harmony with nature, respecting the ocean that gave them their prosperity and their power. But as generations passed, a subtle change began to creep into the heart of the Atlantean civilization. The divine essence within them started to fade, diluted by their mortal nature. Their once noble ambitions slowly curdled into greed and a thirst for conquest. They began to see their technological superiority not as a gift, but as a right to dominate others. Their mighty fleets, which once sailed for exploration and trade, were repurposed into instruments of war. The humility that had once defined their relationship with the gods was replaced by an unshakable arrogance. They began to believe they were invincible, that their power placed them above the laws of both mortals and deities. The council chambers, once filled with discussions of philosophy and justice, now echoed with plans for military campaigns and the subjugation of neighboring peoples. This growing hubris did not go unnoticed. The gods, watching from their celestial thrones, grew displeased with the Atlanteans' arrogance. The very foundations of the world seemed to sense this imbalance of pride. Nature, which had for so long nurtured Atlantis, began to turn against it. The sea, once a calm protector, grew restless and unpredictable. Fierce winds howled through the once peaceful marble streets, carrying a chilling premonition of doom. The earth, which had always been stable beneath their feet, began to tremble with increasing frequency and violence. Animals grew agitated. Birds fled the sky in massive, panicked flocks, sensing a catastrophe that the Atlanteans, in their self-absorption, refused to see. The citizens, once secure in their island fortress, began to feel a creeping sense of dread. The air grew heavy, thick with an unspoken fear. Then, the final warning came. A great, shuddering tremor shook the entire island to its core. The people rushed out into the streets, their faces etched with confusion and terror. They looked toward the coast and witnessed an impossible sight. The ocean, their lifelong companion, was pulling back from the shore, receding rapidly and exposing the seabed for miles. The water drained away from the canals, leaving their magnificent ships stranded in the mud. For a moment, an eerie, deathly silence fell over the city, a silence pregnant with destruction. The wisest among them knew what this unnatural retreat of the sea foretold. It was the harbinger of a cataclysm, the drawing of a colossal breath before an unimaginable exhalation of fury. And then it came. On the horizon, a dark line appeared, growing with terrifying speed. It was a wall of water, a wave of impossible scale, taller than the highest golden towers, more powerful than any army ever assembled. The ocean roared, not with the familiar sound of crashing surf, but with the bellow of a monster awakened from a slumber of ages. The tsunami struck Atlantis with the force of 1,000 thunderclaps. Magnificent buildings constructed over centuries shattered like glass. The elegant marble bridges collapsed into the churning chaos. The golden domes that had once reflected the sun were swallowed in an instant by the dark, furious water. Entire districts vanished beneath the waves. The people's screams were lost in the deafening roar of the deluge. The island that had once mastered the sea was now being unmade by it, its pride and power washed away in a single, brutal moment. In the midst of the chaos, as the waters tore his kingdom apart, the king of Atlantis stood in his palace, watching the destruction. The realization of his folly dawned too late. His belief in his own invincibility, his defiance of the natural order, had brought ruin upon his people. The empire that was meant to last for eternity was being erased from existence in a matter of hours. By the time the sun rose the next morning, there was nothing left. Where a thriving metropolis had stood just one day before, there was only the endless, churning expanse of the ocean. Atlantis was gone, swallowed by the sea, buried beneath miles of water, its secrets locked away in the crushing pressure of the abyss. It was erased from the maps of the world, erased from history, but it was not erased from legend. For thousands of years, the story of Atlantis has captivated the human imagination. Is it merely a cautionary tale created by Plato to warn against the dangers of hubris and imperial ambition? Or is it a fragmented memory of a real, prehistoric civilization that was wiped out by a natural disaster, like the Minoan civilization on Crete, which was devastated by the eruption of the Thera volcano? Explorers, historians, and dreamers have searched for it everywhere, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, from Antarctica to the Atlantic Ocean from which it gets its name. They've followed ancient maps, deciphered cryptic texts, and scanned the ocean floor with advanced technology, all in the hopes of finding a trace of this lost world. To this day, no definitive proof of Atlantis has ever been found. It remains a mystery, a ghost city haunting the depths of our collective consciousness. Yet, the legend endures. It speaks to a deep-seated human desire for a lost golden age, a paradise lost. It reminds us that even the mightiest civilizations are fragile, that our greatest achievements can be swept away in an instant. The story of Atlantis is more than just a tale of a sunken city. It is a timeless warning about the delicate balance between power and humility, between ambition and respect for the forces of nature that are far greater than ourselves. Whether fact or fiction, the search for Atlantis is, in many ways, a search for a part of ourselves, a search for the answers to what we have lost, and a hope for what might one day be rediscovered. Thank you for joining us on this journey to the legendary lost city of Atlantis here on the Real History Network. What do you think? Was Atlantis a real place, or is it just a powerful myth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this exploration into the mysteries of the past, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into real history and legendary tales. We'll see you next time.